Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live stream today. We have an exciting stream for you guys because today we have Joshua joining us. And Joshua is joining us because we have a very special build today to do in the Microfun app. If you guys know, basically we've created an app that helps you gamify any productivity tool. We're starting off with Notion, right? And the idea of it is that as you complete your daily, your weekly, and any ad hoc tasks that you might want to do throughout your life, you're going to earn experience points and gold so you can really keep track of how you've been leveling up. However, we haven't been able to add the item shop that we've already created in our other implementations of the Gamify Your Life packages, right? The templates that we have in different tools. For example, in Airtable, we already have that. In Notion, we already have that. So how come we don't have that yet in a Microfun app? Well, today we're going to solve that. And we have Joshua here, lovely Joshua, who's going to be here to help support us through that journey because he's also built his own implementation of the item shop in a really cool app called Coda as well. So we're going to explore all the pros and cons of the different tools we've already used to build this, and then really explain to you why we want to use a custom app to handle item shops for us here now and in the future. So Joshua, can I get you to give us an introduction of yourself? Just a quick introduction will do, and we'd love to learn more about you.
Sure. So my name is Joshua Green. I'm currently a software developer out in California. I would say I'm a full stack developer, and I'm also a moderator in the Codex3 community.
Lovely. Nice and concise. Thank you so much. And Joshua is not mentioning that he was very vital in the building of the Microfun app from inception. Really, I can say that he's one of the main reasons that we even have the app to begin with. So really kudos to him. And thank you so much for Joshua for being a great part of the community and also continuously supporting us. So thank you so much. And yeah, I think let's get straight into it. First, just to explain what Microfun is, I'm just going to go quickly to the Microfun app to show you this is the app. Do try it out if you're curious. We have almost 300 players now, and yeah, it's a really good way to make sure that you can celebrate your wins and really have less of a boring feeling when you're going through these productivity tools, and instead have wins, right? That you can celebrate and have really fun ways to see yourself grow in your journey of life. Okay, so let's get back into it. Let's talk about the why, what, and how, as we usually do when we go into any build, so that you know exactly why we're here, what we're trying to accomplish, and how we're actually going to get there. The purpose is that so we can teach you or show the whole community really the process that goes into building anything inside, anything of value, I think, or anything that's that you want to produce. It's really good to really know the intentions behind it and really have set parameters for success. That way it's much easier for you to make sure that you get the success that you want. So let's start off with the why, right? Well, why do we want item shop to begin with? Well, what helps you treat fun activities as an end to itself instead of just a means to work again? So basically, what we like to think of the item shop is that it really helps you regulate your fun activities and ideally defeat procrastination. So that's what we can do is that, when we go ahead and earn the gold from doing hard tasks that we might not want to do or might be difficult to do, then we know that we are earning the time and not have to feel guilty, right, for doing things that are fun, right, that are leisurely. Because I think that's also part of, rest and recuperation. It's actually very important to take breaks. So we want to make sure that we are rewarding ourselves and giving ourselves moments to take breaks by knowing that we have set allocated time for that. Joshua, do you want to add anything for the why? Like, why is the item shop meaningful to you?
For me, it's meaningful in the sense that, I would without the item shop, I feel like I would be on social media more than I would like. And so this allows me to really kind of allow me to when I have the urge to go on social media, I kind of ask myself, do I really want to do that? And it's well, if I do, okay, well, let's go ahead and purchase that. Otherwise, I may use this as a way to incentivize myself to do something that I want to actually, let's say, increase activity. So I could basically make social media cost more versus read an article cost less. And so I guess to be able to learn more instead of wasting time. So that's I guess my rationale.
Love it. Love it. I really like that because it really strikes a chord, I think, with a lot of people where we all have moments that time kind of runs away from us. And I think it's really important for us to be able to, set specific time that is able to, hey, this is an activity that you like to do, right? But let's engage in it for the set amount of time that we think is productive for us, and it's something that is healthy for us even, because I think overconsumption is definitely a real problem that a lot of us have, right? So thanks for sharing that. So what we're going to try to build today is a working MVP for the item shop inside the Microfun app. So we have a few basic wireframes that we have that we want to build off of. But before we go into that, let's also show you how it currently looks inside Notion, right? Which is the original Gamify Your Life template, which is a creative, collaborative template that we've created with the help of the community. So inside here, we have create your own item shop. So basically, as an example, this is how item shops kind of look like. And then we can see that we have, 30 minutes of TV, we have ice cream bar, you can add your own reward. And if you go back, I just want to show you, if you go back to, let's show you, let's go into the actual database. Let's go to item shop. Yeah, item shop right here. And then I'm just going to jump into the entire spend your gold section, because what we can see is that we can purchase an item for today with your gold. And inside here, you can see that for our day, we can actually go ahead and purchase an item. So let's go ahead and purchase something. Actually, let me just go back one, and then we can make this bigger just so it's easier for everyone at home to see. But basically, we have a new day, right? Let's say today, and then we want to purchase an item. So let's go ahead and purchase, let's say, an ice cream bar. And you can see immediately we drop in 50 gold. So that's the first con I'm going to show you about the Notion system, is that it cannot check whether or not you have enough gold to actually purchase the item. So if I wanted to, I can go into debt. I can say, I want 30 minutes of TV. I want to keep getting 30 minutes of TV, and I'll keep going in debt, right? So that doesn't make sense. So that's one of the cons about it. But the pros, obviously, is that we already have created a way to spend your gold inside Notion. And I think it's quite nice. Obviously, it's not super engaging. We can't also time ourselves, right? When we start 30 minutes of TV, there's not like a timer starts counting down. We have to personally think about when that timer is going to be. Of course, we can add like a time section and everything like that, but it still wouldn't count down necessarily, right? So there's a lot of improvement that we can do there. But really, this is like the basic implementation of it. And I think it's been serving us really well for the last like 2 years, I think. And now it's time for us to upgrade it. Joshua, do you want to also talk a bit about how this wasn't fully encapsulating everything you needed, and that's why you went into Coda, and perhaps a show and tell of that as well?
Yeah. So I started to use like the item shop that was originally in like the template, but I feel like it was a little limiting in what I could do with it, and also like with like for example, like I could only like select one of each like type for a given day. I couldn't do multiple, and because of that, I actually created like another version within Notion, and that worked for a time. But now what I've been able to do in Coda, it solves a lot of problems. And also, I can actually disable the purchase button when if I don't have any gold left. So
amazing.
Coda has some nice features that you can make use of.
Well, I'd love to see that then, Joshua. Do you mind sharing your screen so the whole community can kind of take a look at that?
Yep. So wait a second. Let me do that right now.
Amazing.
And then
and while he's doing that, like, I'd love to tell the community, like, this is what I love about, our space like this. Like, we get a chance to actually go ahead and share, right? Different ways that we've built certain tools, and that inspires more people to build their own tools. I think that's fantastic. And that's really the way that I think collaboration really works here. So Joshua, I have you up on the main screen now. Feel free to just show us around.
Okay, so I will begin then. So my item shop is down here, and so you can see like the name of the items, the usage type, like the time, and also for me, since they're all time as you can see, but for me, like I feel like the minimum that makes sense, the minimum amount of time that makes sense for me per I guess increment is like 10 minutes, and so the idea is that per every 10 minutes, that's like let's say for watch YouTube, every 10 minutes is worth 15 gold.
Right.
Okay. And then as you can see above, you can see the total amount of gold that I have, and so that's from all my tasks. I also made habits be able to give gold as well, and then so you can basically do the items here. So let's say I wrote social media a bit earlier before this call, and so I can say like I did it for 20 minutes. So 2 total gold 66. Purchase that. Yes, and so 1 row added, and then you go to my backend, I create like a shop ledger. And so that like add operation added that purchase here. So you can see browse social media, that cost $66, it was made today. And yeah, and that's basically how my item shop in Coda works.
Amazing. So you have another table that basically manages like purchases and like the purchase history basically. That's really nice.
Yep.
Wow. And then how did you disable the button for purchase? Like, I'm just curious.
It has disable if preview gold cost. So if like if it shows anything, it will disable the button. But if I also like if total gold is less than the preview gold cost, then I'm sorry, but you won't be able to make that purchase.
Too bad. Well, maybe I'll save my 30 minutes of Netflix another day. Amazing. Well, thank you for showing me that, Joshua. I think that gives us a lot of inspiration moving in as well into the implementation. So I think that's really, really cool. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to show us about this, or we just go straight into building?
Nothing else. I think we can get straight to building.
Amazing. All right. So we've worked on a few like basic wireframes in the community already, and we're very thankful to have a lot of people that give us feedback. Basically, some of the submissions look like this, where we have an item shop. We have a custom kind of shopkeeper that you can edit on the right hand side. And then we have some items that you can purchase. They can either be time-based or one-time off, kind of purchases. Kind of like animations, whether you paid them or not enough gold, or you can buy a certain quantity. So there's a lot of ways that we can go about this. But I think before we even get too deep in that, let's think about the inspiration that we might take from different applications out there. So we were thinking about like, well, do we want like really flashy, like how the mobile games do item shops, right? And suck you out of your money. Maybe not, right? Maybe we don't want to go that way. Do we want to go like really brutalism, right? Where it's like, okay, this is like the theme of, some adventure, and then this is like, how you might have that. Again, maybe not, right? And then finally, do we want something like this, right? Where you can see like, items and simply it's just functional. We just want to buy it and then we want to move forward. So we went through a lot of iterations to think about the different styles, and I think we'll still continue to think of more as we build it today. But really, you can kind of understand this as the way that we've kind of gone started on this idea and how it's evolved over time. And again, we have to think about like, what is the improvement over this custom build over what we've already accomplished in other tools, right? And I think that really the main basic thing is that we want to be able to create a really flexible way for people to keep track of their purchases, for those purchases to really stand out and make a very strong impact on the user. And then also we want to make sure that there's good constraints happening, right? If I don't have enough gold, I shouldn't be able to spend. I should be able to set limits on myself. How many times can I buy something in a day? Like just additional things that we can do to really make the experience even more and more customizable for the user. I think it's really, really important. But of course, before we go into any design, we need to also talk about, how, in the sense of how are we going to make sure that this all works functionally inside our application? What are the databases that we're going to build? And then how are we going to structure those databases to make sure that everything works seamlessly? And I guess in this part, if you guys are new to coding, don't worry, you don't actually have to learn coding at all, but I want to teach you how to think in databases and relations. How do you think and conceptualize about a problem and make it into reality based on databases? This is a skill that I think is applicable to not just coding wise, but Notion, Coda, and any other database-based systems. You can learn this skill and be able to build anything that you want. So hopefully this is useful for you. So let's jump into the whimsical file now. The whimsical file I have open with Joshua, and basically here we have chances to kind of build out what we're looking for. So I've done some thought on this already, Joshua, and at this point we can feel freely talk, right? But I've done a thought on it, and basically we need a table for tracking purchases, right? So this needs to track purchases. And then we need a table to track basically all the items that we have. That's like the most basic implementation, right? That we need. And what I had thought about was item shop obviously has, let's talk about the properties in this, right? So we're going to save the name. We're going to save the item name, right? So maybe let's do it in proper casing, item name. And then we're going to save, gold cost, for example, right?
Yep.
And then type, I guess. Gold type, and
You mean like
then
usage type?
sorry.
You mean like a usage type?
Yes, correct. So type would basically include stuff like let's talk about expected inputs too, right? So type would probably be either one-off, right? So you purchase it one time, um, or maybe let's call it a consumable. Consumable. I think that's a more accurate description. And then we have time based. Perfect. And then later on we'll have even like equipment, right? Equipment.
I see. Okay, yeah.
Cool. And then after I think that's the most basic, but like later on we can also add like what? So notes or time if applicable, right? And this one obviously is a non-optional field. All of these three are probably optional. Sorry, mandatory. So these are mandatory fields. Let's make them red. This one is an optional field. Let's make that green. Any other additional properties you think are needed for this item shop?
I think it's a good start.
Okay, cool. Now for purchases, this is where I think we'll have some interesting discussion. I'm thinking of not making a new purchasers table. I'm thinking of putting it inside the success plan table. And let me explain why. The wins table, right? Basically, the wins table is where we keep track of all the wins a user has in the app. We keep track of all the different additional gold earnings. So it makes sense to have the where you have credits to also have debits out of that account. So if I am earning gold in one table, I should also spend gold in the same table. So my thought process was to add each time I buy an item as a record inside the success plan table. Now, Joshua, I am almost certain you're not going to like that. So let's talk about what's a better implementation, perhaps, or perhaps even dive into more why I think that's even a good decision in the first place.
I see. Yeah, I guess for me, I'd like to see big picture essentially. And so even though we've had disagreements in the past about this, it's like I'm actually interested in seeing this just like everything, and I can give you more insight into like what I'm thinking as I see your thought process more fleshed out.
Sure. Okay, so let me explain why this was even necessary, in my opinion, is that right now the views for calculating gold and experience points, and let me jump over to my my Supabase here, right, which is our database, and I'm going to try my best to not share anything that is too private. I don't think I will, but I just want to be careful. So for example, leaderboard season, right? This is where we can see all the different people and their different wins. And the way that we calculate this total EXP, right? So this total EXP is by basically summarizing, or let's talk about total gold, because total EXP doesn't matter. Total gold. It's by summarizing the field for gold earned inside the success plan. And the success plan is where we get our, not success plan. Is it called success plan here? It's called, yeah, success plan. I was right. Basically, every new win that comes in that gives you gold actually goes into the success plan, and also I guess goes into the it also goes into the, oh right, it also goes to completed habits. Okay, I have a better idea then. Because the way right now we do it is we have a view called all wins, and that summarizes the wins that are done in completed habits and the wins that are done inside the success plan, and then I summarize that column to get the total gold and total EXP. So I think that as long as in the all wins, I also summarize the debits of the purchases, then that will be the solve. Or I make a new view called all changes or whatever, right? That could be cool. Okay, I backtrack what I just said earlier. I think we should have another purchase history table, and this table will have, again, I think pretty similar to, it just repeats all this stuff, but we can repeat it in a meaningful way, which is we say this is date purchase. And then what we can do here, date purchased, and then we can have the item ID. Of course, ID is important. So ID is there. And then we go like this. Date purchase and item ID. This also has an ID.
Question.
Yes.
For things that are time-based, would you possibly want to have like a
expiry,
calculated,
a
calculated cost for a given purchase?
What do you mean? Can you try that again?
Okay, so for example, like when I like make purchases based on time, like for example, let's say for a given, like watching YouTube essentially, and I may buy 2 instances of like 10 minutes, so 20 minutes. So that would be, let's say, I don't know, 20 gold in total. That's like double. Yeah. So that's why it's like, you may want to like do like a sum of how much that, I guess, let's say time-based purchases, and save that to the purchase history.
Okay. So it depends how we want to implement that. I understand what you're saying. I think it depends, like, do we add a quantity when we purchase it, or do we just get to double click on it and add it to records, right? Is there a quantity component in purchase history, or should it just insert 2 records if I want to buy 2? What do you think?
Let's see. Because the thing is, like, you're also dealing with the consumables, so that's easy. I think equipment is easy as well. Time-based.
Like, personally,
I guess there wouldn't be a problem.
I guess like time-based, you're seeing as like increments of 1 minute, right? So like if I want to do a 5-minute of social media, can I do that, or do I have to make a new item for that? That's what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're saying either 5 records versus like 1 record. That's just a multiple of however much that item costed individually.
Okay, then how about we do it like this? Let's not even add duration here. I don't think duration even matters there. We just say gold cost, and this can also be if time-based, this is gold cost per minute, basically, as an example, right? It could be per 5 minutes, doesn't matter. But basically, if we can set a gold cost per minute, and then we can scale it up, so like when we actually enter it, we can add like, oh, we want to do this for 30 minutes, then it'll multiply this by 30, and then our expiry time is based on that math. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Cool. I think there'll be one thing interesting, which is like we will have to make an assumption on the UI. Is like, what do they want to see? How many minutes they want to see, in terms of gold cost. So that'll be interesting. Or maybe we can just set like a default. So when they enter this, let's put a default duration. I think default duration will be a different variable across the entire item shop. It wouldn't just be for this one item, right? Or do you think default duration should be for every item?
Because the thing is, like, in the UI, like if the item has a specific gold cost, we could easily do like a slider in order to determine, like, to help us like determine like from 0 to, I don't know, like a minute possibly. But
in the grid view, where would we have space for that? Let's think about that. Right, let's say it's something like this.
It's a limitation of grid view.
Yeah, I mean, we can click on it, it can pop up here or something. I mean, I don't think that's a bad idea. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's not a problem. Like maybe also, maybe there could be like a purchase button, and maybe that could like show like a modal that will have more like controls, like for example, like slider, or just like when you select on it, maybe it just stops showing the owner, the shop owner, and like shows whatever controls you need in order to finish making your selection.
Yeah, I guess like I agree with all that. I just guess my question will just be the default duration. Should we show something at least like so that the gold cost that pops up is something reasonable? It's not like the 1 minute one or whatever. Or should it be the last purchase? Like, I'm just trying to think like what's the best kind of time frame to assume for this cost. You know what I mean?
I think so, but the thing is that why does this need to be in a database? Couldn't we just like show the default duration like in the front end?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, like, but then I want them to be able to change it.
Oh yeah, I see your points.
Yeah. Again, okay, it doesn't really matter right now. It's just an over complication. Let's go MVP. The MVP is we have this. Anything else we need to do, I think? You think?
I think you're okay.
I think because of this, we need to add also gold spent. Because I think it might be different because if we purchased a multiple of the gold costs, then we have different gold spent. So gold spent should be independent, in my opinion. Gold spent should be a different thing here. So then date purchased, item ID, gold spent, expiry time if necessary, and I think that's good.
Yes, I think that makes sense. Yeah, because when it comes to gold spent, that's like as I was kind of bringing up earlier. It's like I kind of like add up how much gold was like I guess associated with a given purchase. Is that related to this gold spent item that you just added?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, because like if I buy, let's say 30 minutes of social media, right? Then that would be more than just the base gold cost. I would need to save that somewhere, so I don't have to calculate. Yeah.
Yep, got it.
And then in the future, we might have like what coupon codes and stuff like that. I mean, whatever. I'm sure there's many things that that will modify the gold costs, right? And therefore, the gold spent may be different than the actual gold cost. So I think that's useful to save. Okay, cool. I think that's a great basic implementation. Let me just quickly show you guys how I would do that in our database, which is in Supabase. And let's go ahead and do a new table. Let's call it an item shop. Item shop has ID, right? Created at, I guess that's okay. We can save that. Created as, that's fine. Oops, I should go ahead and do item name. Item name. And then we go ahead and item name goes into here. Item name I think should be a text. Unless people are going to put some weird stuff. So maybe we do var. Varchar. Let's just do that. There is no default, but I do hope it is not nullable. This is nullable. This is not nullable, obviously. I think ID should be unique. Interesting that that's not automatic. How come ID is not automatically unique? Interesting, right? That doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah, that is quite interesting.
What?
I think for our cases, yeah, keep that unique though.
Yeah, I mean for every case, I don't see any case that shouldn't be. Oh, that's so funny. Okay. Anyway, int 8. Okay. Will there be decimal places for gold cost? Will people do that? Should we allow people to do that?
I don't know about that. I'd probably keep them integers.
Yeah, int 2 or int 4. Int 4 is probably big enough. It's probably too big, honestly. Yeah. Type is just text because we know the types. Type is just text. Also, by the way, it's not nullable. It's not nullable. Last one is image. Image I will save for later because I will want to make sure that we can implement it properly. But I think that's good. So this is like a mandatory field. Mandatory, not mandatory. Mandatory. Do you want a modified on as well or no? Less modified.
I guess we could use that for sorting purposes.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Oh, sorting actually probably important. Some way to give sorting later on, but I think that's fine for now.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I've seen some really cool like sort. Like I just do it in a very like basic way, right? I just do like add a sort number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the dailies. But I think there's much smarter ways to do it now. Like you can drag it around and move it around and stuff. Yeah. Okay, so that's the item shop, and now let's add the purchase table. So let's add a new table called purchase history. So item purchases, I think is the best way to call it, unless you have a better name for me. Is unique, purchased on, I think purchase date is better, more clear.
Yeah, I agree.
And then item ID. So item ID, this is going to be a linked to my item shop that we just did. Item shop, I do not see it. Hello. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Item shop ID, there we go. And then this is a must have. You can't buy anything without that. You must have that as well. Let's go with gold spent. So gold spent is going to be again int 4. And then this is not nullable. And then expiry time is nullable. Expiry time is very nullable. And expiry time basically is going to give you a timestamp Z. And this one could be nullable. Perfect. I think that's it, right? Item purchases, everything here.
I think so, yeah.
Yes. Okay, cool. Let's save that. And then now that's done, we can probably go ahead and start looking into the code and seeing how we can implement this. So I have the code base up. Again, it's going to look very, very messy for everybody who is new to coding. Don't worry about it. We'll show you exactly where we want you to look. So let's just go jump into my modal. I just want to show the, oh, actually it's not here. I want to go into my hard stats. And then I believe we have a place here. Perfect. We have a slider drawer, and then I'm going to open this up and show you how that kind of looks like already. So I've already started building a little bit of it. Again, very basic implementation. I've just built out the, let's also hide this bookmarks bar. I just built out the, how do you say it? The slider. So basically, the idea was that when I click on the item shop, it should be able to pop out a window for me to look at that I can start working on the spending my gold. So this is kind of how it looks like right now. Obviously, it looks very basic, nothing like the UI that we were doing before. And we're currently borrowing some libraries like Mantine. I really like Mantine recently, and I think it's looking pretty okay, but we definitely want it to be larger, take up the whole screen, etc. So I think the first design decision I'd like to make with you, Joshua, on this is, do we want it to be a drawer or do we want it to be a modal? I was thinking a drawer because it kind of reminds me of like a backpack, right? An item coming up, like a shop coming at you. Like there's some like movement orientation with that. I'm curious your take on it as well.
I guess I'm kind of biased, and sorry for this fan in the background,
No
but
worries.
I'm kind of biased towards modals, because then if we do a modal, then on mobile, that modal could basically become just full screen.
Right. I mean, we can do the same thing with drawers too, I believe, right? So if I do this, right?
That is true, yeah.
Yeah, so let me just refresh. So it's a proper mobile simulation. Let's make it a bit bigger. So if I do this, yeah, it'll look like that. And it could take the whole screen on mobile as well. So I think it's okay. I don't think it's too bad. The main thing right now is we want to make sure that we are able to make it bigger. So let's go jump into the Mantine documentation. So I think we can go into here, Mantine. And then what I've used here is the drawer. We're not going to spend too much time on this because obviously I want to get quickly just to start reading from database. But let's go ahead and just make sure that the drawer is big enough for our needs. So let's go ahead and go to drawer. So drawer, it's already size XL. Can it be bigger? Size XL. We can say 100 VH. So if we really want to, we can make it the whole size. So let's say 90 VH. Yeah, so 90 VH will take up 90% of the screen. So, and then on mobile, we can make it take up more, right? So that's perfect. I think that's good. Do we also want it to fit the theme, right? We also want it to be probably more black and white. So let's just quickly add that while we still can here. We can add a style. So let's do class names like this. So drawer class names. And then what we want to do is the drawer should be background dark. Perfect. And then what we can do is the text could be white. So title should be white. So text white. Perfect. And then also, I guess we can do text white here as well. Just do that. Perfect. Okay, so that's one thing down. Now let's go ahead and start using this card to display all our images. First, we want to break down these two sections. So we have like a shopkeeper on this side. Joshua, can you find a shopkeeper for me? I think it'll be nice if we can use a shopkeeper of your choosing.
Sure. Okay, I'll see if I can find one.
Perfect. So let's go ahead, and while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and make this. So div, I'm going to make a section. So this is going to be the flex box. So class name flex. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make another div. Placeholder for shopkeeper. Okay, so then this should be 2 places, yes. So now I want to make sure they're justified in between. So justify between. By the way, I think everything in here should be text white just for now. So everything can stand out a bit more. Okay, that's right here. Okay, let's see what's going on. So we have this item here, which is taking up the whole space. That's not good. I believe it's because of the width stop maximizing. So let's take away the width. Nope, that is still taking up the whole thing. I think we should do let's do grid actually. I think grid is better. So grid, and then grid calls to. There you go. That's much better. And then shopkeeper will be there. I think the header can be much bigger. So let's go ahead and make the title much bigger. So text large, font bold. And then the header, I'm just curious what this is. We can do BG Emerald 600. It's gonna look there. I guess I'm into that. I can do the. I really like the really colorful gradients that we use. So I'm just curious. Let's see how gradient looks like here. Let's go with this to blue, and then we're gonna add that gradient. Let's also do padding 4. Nice, and then we're gonna do rounded. Very nice. I actually like that quite a bit. And then text will be XL. Okay, and then let's do P3 instead. So P3 will look like that. And now we already have a nice little header for this item shop that's coming up. And let's see what else we want to do. So while Joshua's getting us our shopkeeper, and he can take his time, I'm going to edit this card a little bit. Obviously, we already have the look and feel that we were looking for before, which was something that looks a little like this. So, we also have to add our gold here, probably somewhere. We also probably have to add, let's open this up. Okay, so we will probably also want to add, I'll make this a bit smaller so it doesn't need to be so big. item description is there, that's fine. We probably also want to do an add item component. So let's just build two components. Let's build one of this, and then let's build how an add item should look like. So let's go back into our code now. And then what we want to do is make this a lot smaller. So let's control the width to be 100. 100 is probably too small. Let's control width to be 150. This text, let's go ahead and make it so that it is Ben Gold on use this on Twitter, Facebook, etc. Okay, and then I'm also noticing that this is still too small, so let's go 200. Okay, and then this is social media. So let's try social media. And then this one is going to be the price. So let's say this is 500. And let's make this yellow. Okay, and then we can do a buy now button. Okay, this is, we can add a gold. Okay, now let's make this 250 then. Okay, nice. And then now we can add a nice image instead. So let's add a nice image, or let's add a placeholder image basically for the item itself. For social media, let's actually just go and find like Twitter as a image. Let's use this. This is a cute image. Maybe something like this. So let's open image in new tab. That's going to expire. I don't like that. I mean, for now it's okay. Let's just do that for now. It's going to expire, but for now it's okay. And then this is alt is Twitter. Let's call it that. So we have a really nice item there. Nothing works obviously right now because we're just trying it out. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that even as size gets smaller, everything's fine. Okay, so it's not fine. So everything is getting forced smaller, but it's not actually going smaller, and that's because we're fixing the size. That's okay for now, because what we want to do is just make sure that for now we can show all this. We also just want to make one more card that can give us the new button, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and do a new card. So we're going just to make this simple.
Oh.
Yes, go ahead.
Quick update. So yes, I found a shop owner. I sent it to you via Gilbid.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Let me open that. Add new item. Okay, so that's gonna show there. So what I need one more thing is another div around everything here. So let's format this, and then I'm also going to make sure, let's also just duplicate this card actually. And the reason why I want to do that is because I think it will save me time from having to rebuild everything, and I can still keep it in a similar look and feel. So I'm going to take away the image. I'm going to take away this, and I'm just going to say add new. Okay, so now it's stacked. So I want this to be also in a grid format, probably more than flex format. So let's go ahead and say class name flex. And then what I can do is we can fix the height of these actually. Josh, what's the best way to make sure all the heights of everything inside a Flexbox widens? I know it's something easy.
Is it like maybe like the use of auto?
Yeah, something about expanding. Do you mind just doing that quick research, and then we can probably go ahead. And I'll add your image. Thank you for that.
Because you want like the height of everything to automatically expand to
fit
take
the
the entire
largest one.
space.
Yes, fit the largest one basically.
Okay.
Yes, perfect. I am seeing your image. Oh wow, this
Oh,
guy is
profit.
very nice. Definitely an item shop kind of guy. Wow. Um, okay, so let's go ahead and I'm just going to grab the image here because again, it's all temporary for now. I'm just going to use a link for it. Then we're going to go ahead and throw that image in. I already have an image that I use inside header stats, I believe. So image. Okay, avatar. Okay, cool. So this is something that I want to use. Just take this image and then let's put that image here. Let's not do an on click yet. Let's just see how that looks like. So, okay, so that looks like that. And then if I want to now throw in my image or Joshua's image, I can just take this, copy image address. You know, I was expecting like you would give something like fantasy themed, and I would you did not disappoint. Yeah. Um. So this is class name flex, and then this is provide justify center, and then align middle. Let's see how that looks like. This needs to be centered. So how did I handle that? Apparently with no extra classes. Height auto.
I just want to confirm, but you wanted basically something to make all those 3 items the same height?
Yes.
I see, okay.
Not 3 items, but anything in the flex box, basically. Anything in just a flex box.
Okay. Oh, well, you should be able to use flex on each item inside of it and just do flex 1, and so then they would each take the same amount of the space.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I think that's basically what I'm looking for. Sorry, flex 1?
Flex 1, yeah.
Where am I? The card stats. So inside there, we want to call it flex 1. So inside each item. Yeah.
Yes, inside each item, yes.
Flex 1. That's for horizontal. Apparently. I want to, let me just try. Tailwind. Grow basically, right? Flex grow. But it's still horizontal. I want to grow like vertically. Unless it doesn't make a difference.
If you like, another way could be just like having each item be like 100% height. But the thing is that will only be 100% to the space that they can take up. So
yeah, so that still doesn't fit it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. I think we're looking at flex grow, no? Grow. Let me just see. Grow. No, that's only if it has more space. Even if it's the same thing as the if it needs more space. Flex direction, flex wrap. Flex 1 is yes, but it's just not growing height wise. Yeah, I'll let you take a look at it a bit more. But for now, it's not a big deal. Yeah, but it's not a huge deal. Let's see, margin top. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so we have a new item now, and then let's simulate a few more items just to make sure that everything works. So what we want to do is we want to have another one. Now it's time that we add a gap. So what we do here is we say flex gap 2, gap 4, let's say, so that it's some spacing and everything. Really cool. And then now if we keep adding in more, let's add one more, it should go to the next line. Okay, that's not good. So we should go to the next line after 3. So I think the best way to handle that actually is to not use flex anymore and use grid. So grid calls 3, since we have such control over this. And then gap, let's say 6. Interesting. Gap x4. So there is gap, but then it's being pushed. It's because it's because the sizing is too big. Yeah, it's because the sizing is too big. Let's go ahead and make this. What's the best way? Everything's too big. Okay, let's cheat a little for now. Let's just do this. Later on, we can handle more the fine-tune things, but now we have a nice gap, right? Just for completion's sake, let's go ahead and make a few more of them. So, but instead of doing that this way, I'm going to go ahead and do it in a programmatic way. So I'm going to say, well, I'm going to make an array. The first thing I think is we should. Okay, wait 1 second. I want us to see once it goes that. Yeah, okay, that centers out. That's great. Okay, so now we have item shopkeeper. We have items in the item shop here. We can add a new one. That's great. And what we want to do right now is to make sure that we can load from database. So to load from database, I'm just going to do a fetch. Right now, the way that I do fetches is I will call a fetch place, so a fetch master. So I'm just going to grab need to get a select. Okay, so let's just do this one. So let's select. I want to see. Oh, okay. We haven't added a lot of additional components here, which is for item shop. We need to say whose it belongs to, right? So we need to add a new column. Say player, and then this one is an UID. Let's just add a foreign key first. This is going to be user. ID. Okay, so then now we have a UID. Cannot be nullable, must have someone there. And now I'm realizing that we also need description. So let's go ahead and add description. Description will just be a text. Again, we just do varchar just to be safe. It can be nullable. An item name, I think we can just change it to name since we don't need to add item to everything. Perfect. So now we have this, and then what we can do is we can load this information from database now. Joshua, how would you like the look and feel to be for the add new? Should a modal pop up, but then that's a modal on a modal, right? Or should like I be able to edit this directly? Like I can just change here. Like what will be the best for you?
I feel like like it could be like an inline thing, like maybe like show like a text box right above the add new button possibly, but that or
Like, I mean, okay, let's think about the edit as well. When I edit it here,
okay,
should I edit it directly here, or should I have like a different page, a different component to edit stuff?
I'm thinking about this. Like for in some ways, like easiest thing is like it'd be nice if there was a table, but like with simple things like a title, you can easily edit that in line. But there are multiple ways of doing this. But the thing is, we have a minimum amount of space here,
Yeah.
and so like this is like the viewing the items. Maybe it should be useful to have like a edit view, and that would be like a edit version of the grid view. So that's one approach.
Right, right. Well, I can imagine like I'm only changing three things, right? So this one, again, I'm changing the like, because one thing that I realized, again, I'm with you, having a different page to change things is much easier development wise. But I've realized that a lot of like apps and that I use nowadays, like they like to have the edit just directly on the thing, so you can see how it looks before you even save, right? So I like the live preview kind of idea there usually. If I were to,
Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
one idea. Okay, since we have a grid view anyways, we could make it so that the first item in the grid view is always like a space to like add a new item. Um, and I totally understand where you're coming from when it comes to like editing in place with the what items that are in the table, but
Mhm.
that could be a way for like adding new items. Yeah, you could have like a initial item that's always like, and you can basically, I guess, add that new item's information in place. Uh, I guess the button would change to submit. Click on that, and it basically the grid view will update. And then again, you would still see that like that kind of like that add item that's like in first one in grid view, and then you would see like the newly created one like wherever it would be located in the grid view.
Yeah,
That's another approach.
I like that too.
See what I'm saying?
Basically just to confirm, like you're saying that it should just be a whole card, but empty stuff, and then I can just edit it if I want to. And then I click add new, it
Yep.
becomes an actual card. Okay, then I have a quick question for you. How do I actually change this? Because I know how to do input boxes, but how do I make an input box that looks like a normal thing? Like how do I click on that and then make it into an input box in your, what's the easiest way?
I feel like what I'd probably do is like when you click on it, it would change like the mode of that like text field to be like a edit box, but I would change the CSS so that
It looks
you wouldn't see the box. It would just be like what you see here. So that's probably what I would do.
do you have any quick code for me? Like, I can send you how this card looks like. Do you mind helping out with the code of that? The state management and everything for changing to an input that is more hidden.
Just to be kind of honest, we're not going to finish this all in one sitting, man.
Of course, no worries. I think what I want to try to do before we wrap up, because I think we're nearing like the hour mark, is I want to just be able to load from database and then we'll be good. Then maybe like the edit button isn't necessary, but at least like if you could show me a little bit of how that might work, I think that's like a really quick example. I understand the edit state, right? Edit state will basically show me a different card, but I'm kind of curious how you would structure that card so that it's editable. Are they all just input fields, but just with a different CSS that's like that looks exactly like how this looks?
Let me think about this. I
Okay.
personally wouldn't do edit right now, but I feel like what we could do that would be of value would be to go ahead and request from the backend, like for example, a sample item, and then so that we can show it in this grid view. I feel like that would be good for this session.
Okay, cool. Let's go for that instead. Perfect. So let's go ahead. So I'm doing the fetch now, right? The fetch from item shop. And then equals player eats player. That's fine. We don't need any of this stuff. We just need to return the data. Perfect. And then we want to show that. I think I don't need it in finally because data will be hidden. So I think return data is fine. Okay. So I'm gonna save that, and then I'm gonna say fetch item shop here. So let's go ahead and do a use state. So every time the item shop opens, I want to run that again. So use effect. I always forget the use effect syntax. So easier just to copy it over here. So every time item shop open happens, I want to refresh it. So I want to fetch item shop. So I want to set items. Await fetch item shop. And then I want to do a constant item set items. This is null. Okay. Something happened. Await is not allowed. I know I normally do this. Let's see how I do it normally. Let's find a fetch.
Oh, don't forget
function.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's put it here. Fetch items. And I think if item shop open, so we don't have to waste our bandwidth there, and then perfect. So now we should be able to do that. And then once that happens, I actually want to just make sure I console log this. So console.log data. Right now it should show nothing because there's nothing in the database. But ideally every time I open that, so open, type UID undefined. Yeah, that's fine. Basically I need to send in information. It needs my player ID. So let's go ahead and grab my user ID. So let's give it my user ID. So let's go ahead and open it up. It's empty. Fantastic. So what I want to do now is I want to add a new item. The first thing is I need to understand what my user ID is. So console.log user ID. That's my user ID. So let's just hard code it into an item. Let's make a new item now. Player is that, the name of it. Let's just say this is exactly the same thing. Let's just add Twitter. And then I'm going to add all this information. So Twitter. And then uses on Twitter, etc. 500 is the cost. The type is a time-based, right? What do we say the syntax of that was going to be? We said that was going to be time-based. Yeah, time-based. So let's save that. Amazing. So now I want to add one more item just so that we can do it better. Confirmed. Let's go ahead and let's just add 2 items so that we have 2 examples. Give me one other item, maybe a consumable, some snack that you like.
I guess it's candy.
Chocolate bar. Yeah.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
Chocolate bar. Yum yum. Simple. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and jump back into my let's jump into the code, and then the code here we have a save, and then ideally what we can do is load this again, and it should have 2 items. Nice. So there's 2 items in there already now. And now what we want to do is we want to load them into here. So we can go ahead and do a map. So as long as we have a items, so items, we want to show information. I'm going to do a map dot items item. Okay, wait, for the map functions, I also would rather just find it. So map functions. Okay. Dot map and then do that. I want a simple version. Here, this is a simple version. Dot map, and then we go ahead. And then this is going to be the thing that we'll reference. So basically, items.map. And then we go ahead and do double brackets. Item I for index. And then we do this. Is that correct? I think so, right?
Looks like it. Oh.
Yeah, and then we do this div basically. Otherwise, we do null. I think that's not it. Oh, items.map. This needs to be here. There we go. Format that. And then here, this text needs to be item.name. Let me save that first. Let's just see. Okay, perfect. It does work. Okay, so I just need to do item.description. And then this is item.gold cost. Wonderful. And then later on, we can just add our own images. But right now, it looks like it's all loading from database. And if I go ahead and close this, open this, it will still look good. Yeah, awesome. I think that's a pretty good implementation for now. Joshua, how are you feeling about this?
Yeah, I think that's a great start to this feature.
Amazing. So the next things we're going to build, just so everyone at home knows, is that we're going to make sure that we can see the gold cost for the items, right? We want to make sure the add new works. We want to make sure we can edit stuff. Buy obviously needs to work. There still is a bit of there to work, but for now we have the structure. I think purchasing is very easy. We just need to add it to our purchase table and then summarize the gold so we can see the gold fall in real time. So that's exciting. Make this customizable. So if you want to have your own custom, shopkeeper, feel free, right? What else do you think is needed for the next implementation, Joshua?
I guess also being able to see the purchase history. I think we wanted to add that.
Yes, a tab for purchase history. That's correct. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So a few more things to come, but yes, you can see it's almost there. So I'm really excited. Thank you so much, Jocelyn, for joining us today, and especially for joining us in our new community space. If you've watched our streams a bit earlier, you know that we've changed, or not changed, but we are now hosting a lot of our meetings inside this space called Gather. Just to give you a quick look, basically it looks like this. You can see we have our own avatars. This is where we're hanging out right now. And then this is one of our rooms where we're kind of doing on-air stuff. And basically, yeah, it's a really nice place that we can all hang out. We can all have a good time, have meaningful conversations, and really thankful for everybody in the community who's helped build out this space because it's huge. There's like rooftops, there's like, night market, there's offices, there's libraries. So it's been really fun and really exciting to have everyone here. So thank you, Joshua, again, for joining us. Do you have any last things to say?
Well, if anything, it's happy to help, and I'm looking forward to seeing the item shop be fully functional.
Amazing. So stay tuned, guys. Thank you again so much for joining us. Have a wonderful